Love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a off the field right now, out. He's fired. He's fired. They'll be the most popular person in this country, because that's a total disrespect of our heritage.
President Trump at a rally in Alabama, he got a response. First of all, Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, criticizing the president's comments. Team owner after team owner criticizing the president's comments. And just minutes ago at Wembley Stadium in London, here are the Ravens and Jacksonville Jaguars, all taking a knee. That is, for those who have not been keeping track of the taking a knee, usually you have one, maybe two or three players max per team taking a knee during the national anthem. This is something else entirely. We're back with our panel. Nina Turner, would love your response to President Trump talking about this and the response from the NFL.
I mean, really, he should use his energy to fight for our sisters and brothers in Puerto Rico who have no power, or the states in Florida where the citizens still need help, and other areas where the hurricanes hit. It is utterly ridiculous for him to pick up this fight. Is he talking about our heritage, as in the heritage of this country that enslaved black folks or took land from Native Americans, or the heritage that still has systemic racism in this country? Which heritage is he talking about? And to pick a fight with NFL players. I mean, this flag in this country is just as much about Patrick Henry saying, give me liberty or give me death, as it is about Fannie Lou Hamer saying, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. These players have every right to express themselves and to challenge this system. And in the same spirit of Muhammad Ali, or even when James Baldwin said that I love this country more than any other country, and that is why I reserve my, the right to critique this country. That is what those NFL players are doing. They're upholding their First Amendment right, and they are pushing this country to recognize its bigotry, its oppression, and its racism, and that is very much American.
Vikings fan, Jason Lewis, Congressman of Minnesota.
Well, when it comes to oppression, Colin Kaepernick was in the second year of a $126 million contract when he started this. So he's doing pretty well, and NFL players are doing pretty well. But they have a constitutional right to do all of this, absolutely. And owners have a constitutional right to discipline them. And that's all Trump was saying. I think Trump talks around the water cooler, the way people will do on Monday morning and say, hey, did you see those players take the knee? And other people will say, yeah, I did. And other people will say, hell no, that's bad news. That's exactly what Trump taps into all the time. And a lot of people can't figure it out, but he's talking to a lot more people than some of us give him credit for.
But Congressman, owners have a right to chastise black men predominantly who decide to uphold, to utilize the First Amendment right.
I mean, do you
understand? But do you understand how that sounds?
No, the Constitution applies to the power of government. Congress shall make no law.
Do you understand
let me
how that
finish.
sounds?
The Congress. Look, employers cannot rescind your speech. Or I shouldn't say employers can. The government cannot rescind your speech. You don't have a right of free speech at your place of employment to stand up and say, I think I'm going to recite the Gettysburg Address tomorrow. Your employer can say, no, you can't.
But I didn't see this outrage when Tom Brady decided that he was not going to go visit the White House. Is it only outrage when black men decide to assert their belief in this country about bigotry and racism?
Nobody's saying that.
Let me bring in Jen Psaki. The polling on this is rather wanting. But it does seem that a majority of the American people actually disapprove of Colin Kaepernick's protests. So it might be that President Trump is actually on the more popular side on that issue, whether or not he's acting the way that will continue to get that kind of support. I don't know. But what do you think?
Look, technically, maybe for the moment or for the last year or so, but what this is really bringing to the surface are a lot of the debates about race and inequality that have been in the NFL, have been living around our country for many, many years. And I think it's really unfortunate when we start to make this about what NFL leaders are allowed to or shouldn't do according to the law. This is about who we are as a country. The president typically should be somebody who is a force for good, who is bringing about debates, but encouraging them in a productive manner. So, sure, I think polling from 6 months ago or 4 months ago, when there was only one or two from a team who were taking a knee, is very different from what we're seeing now. And this is bringing about an activism and people speaking in the NFL and around the country, I think, to racial oppression that's happening in communities. That's not just in the NFL, but certainly they are one of the most public places where these debates are happening.
Steelers fan, Rick Santorum?
I wish the president had spent more time talking about healthcare, which have been talking about the success that they've had in dealing with the hurricanes and the tremendous job that Governor Abbott and Governor Scott have done. I mean, there's the president of the United States can be a water cooler guy. He can go and talk about whatever he wants to talk about, but he's taken his eye off the ball of the things that he can actually impact and make positive change. And we're this close. I think we're 1 or 2 votes away from passing a repeal and replacement of Obamacare. And if I was the president of the United States, I'd be spending all my time and energy publicly and privately trying to get this pledge that he made to the American public and not get diverted into conversations that actually make it harder for you to accomplish your goals.
And the thing is, it's interesting about this is when he picks his fight is, and I have a feeling you're right. This is going to drive people to Kaepernick's side. We saw it this morning when they weren't even there. I mean, I don't. It's possible that a majority of the country will side with him, but he's probably going to beef up the support. I think you're a Browns fan, but I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, Cleveland Browns,
but
Cleveland Cavaliers. Speaking of LeBron James,
you were talking about the racial component of this. You don't think it's an accident that he's talking about predominantly African American players?
Look at his audience. It's no accident.
In Alabama,
he doesn't do anything by accident. He's very strategic about this, and this kind of brew up. Is right up his alley. He loves when all this chaos and confusion. This feeds his agenda. But make no mistake, this still is not about just President Trump. And I say this everywhere that I go, that the whole notion of systemic racism and what we need to do to lift people and to recognize the deficiencies in this country, that systems oppress and have been oppressive. I mean, there was just a study that came out that said that African Americans still are not keeping pace with the same wages as some white folks in this country, even still. 40 years, even still. So we have some systemic pressures that we really have to deal with as a community, as a country. At the same time, we have sisters and brothers in rural parts of this country too who suffer as well. And the president is doing a disservice to continue along this track.
Great panel. Thanks so much. And I didn't mention you're a Patriots fan. I should.
Patriots. I have to be Bengals. My husband's from
Bengals.
Cincinnati.
Okay. Well, you're from. All right.